Good afternoon. This is Jennifer Harmoning, President of the Burnsville Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today for our ISD 191 School Board Candidate Forum. I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, Brady Folkstead. Thanks, Brady.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, I'm Brady Folkstead. I am the chair of the Burnsville Chamber of Commerce Public Policy Committee. Thank you very much for joining us today for the Burnsville Egan Savage School District 191 Board of Education Candidate Forum. Today, we're going to be hearing from 5 different candidates for the 3 available seats. For candidates that are joining us today, we have Eric Miller, Suad Saeed, Tony Connor, Anna Werb, and Hodan Ahmed. Thank you all very much for joining us, and thank you to those watching on Facebook Live as well as watching our recording on YouTube. We appreciate that, and the candidates also appreciate the opportunity to be able to express themselves to each of you. As we go through today, we'll be doing 4 different questions. Candidates will have some time for an introduction as well as 1-minute closing remarks. I will be doing the timekeeping as well. For those of us watching, the candidates will be able to see my background green when they are free to speak. During the last 15 seconds of their speaking time, my background changes to yellow. And when their time is up, my background will change to red. Also, we selected the order in which candidates are going to be answering the questions based on the order in which they joined the live stream. So as we work through, Sue, and then Hodan, Eric, Anna, and then Tony will be answering questions in that order, and we'll rotate down the list for who answers which question first. So again, thank you very much for all the candidates for joining us today. We're excited to hear from each of you. With that, we'll kick this off. The first question that we have is just a little bit of introduction. Let us get to know you a little bit better and what motivated you to run for office. Sue, this question's coming to you first. Let us know a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to run.
Well, thank you for having me here. My name is Suad Saeed. Friends and family call me Sue. I want to let you know that I am the American dream. My parents fled Somalia with nothing but documents stating their identity because their main focus was to get their children to a safe country that would allow them to be who they wanted to be. And I'm running because I have been a student here in the district. And now having children of my own in this district, I'm more determined than ever to continue transforming the work that has been taking place in our district. And that is inclusivity and equitability education for all children to make it to the boardroom as leaders. Our educators need the tools to succeed, and I want to be able to amplify that voice more than anything. To see changes in student achievement, enrollment numbers, diversity in our educators, we need to change that course with bold ideas to avoid the same results. And I want to be part of finding that solution, and I want to make education work for every child that might feel like they've been pushed out by an educational system that doesn't really reflect them anymore or work for them anymore. And I think Burnsville has come a long way, but there's still more to go.
Great, thank you very much. Now we're going to be moving over to Hodan. Hodan, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to run for this office.
My name is Hodan Ahmed. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and also I'm a community advocate. I live in Burnsville for 18 years. I have 3 kids at the school district 191. The reason motivated me to run is that every community needs a representation. So the need of the community.
Thank you very much. And now moving on over to Eric. Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to run for office.
Well, thank you, Brady and Jennifer and the Chamber for hosting this event tonight. And thank you for everybody that's listening out there in the virtual world. So I have been serving in various nonprofit and leadership roles for a number of years now, and you know, it really just comes down to the desire of service and interest in being involved in my community. I and my wife have 3 small children also in the district here, the oldest being in middle school and 2 youngest being in elementary. We live over in Savage, and I am actually the only incumbent in this race. I've been serving now for 3.5 years as on the board. I've experienced quite a lot of things, and believe that that we need to continue a lot of the stuff we're doing, and we have a lot of opportunity for growth. I'm really welcoming the new voices and the new diversity to the board. It's going to be wonderful to see some new opinions and voices on the board. So in addition to that, I have an MBA from the Carlson School of Management and a BA from Augsburg College. Worked in corporate strategy all my career. Currently work actually for a company right based in Burnsville here. And again, it just really comes down to service. That's what my interest is and why I've been involved. I figure you can either complain or you can roll up your sleeves and work. And that's been my opinion. And I try to make that part of my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Anna, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to run for office.
Yes. Well, first, I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. I'm a 13-year resident of Burnsville. I have 3 children, 2 of which are currently enrolled in the Burnsville district. They attend William Byrne Elementary School. I have a 5th grader and a 2nd grader, both attending Virtual Academy. I'm also a 22-year employee of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. And with that employment, I've instilled in me a great heart for health and racial equity. And in my years there, that's become very important to me. And being part of diversity and inclusion in working there. I've also been involved heavily with the PTO in the past couple of years, and just getting that experience with meeting the teachers and the principal and helping with fundraising, and having that experience and enjoying it very much has led me to feel more need for service to my community, and then being out in the community with my children when they're involved in sports and interacting with different ethnic backgrounds, and hearing from them and their needs in the school district and what they're not getting, and feeling like I want to help them just because of my background with the health and racial equity that I'm learning about at my work, and feeling like I feel like I could do more and help in the district than just sitting back and not doing anything. So I feel a strong need to step up and do something to help.
Okay, thank you. And now going over to Tony. Tony, please let us know what motivated you to run for office and a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Bradley. I'd like to also thank the Commerce for having this forum for us, this platform, and also for all the listeners taking out time to listen to your candidates. My name is Tony Connor. I grew up in South Minneapolis. I grew up in a diverse neighborhood, so I feel I was kind of lucky in that aspect, because that's where I got my first interest in the family dynamics. We had Native Americans, we had white people, we had Black people, we had biracial people, and single moms, two-parent homes. So it was very interesting to me just to see the dynamics of family and children and the needs of all of that. Then I got into I got into the school system, but before that, I just always had an interest in children besides just their families and how they were raised. So at an early age, I started babysitting, and then I worked with, when my children were small, I had a licensed daycare. I also did foster care when I was a foster care provider when they were like preteens. And then when they got into junior high school, I started to work in the school system. I got a lot of experience with kids working as a paraprofessional. Last year, I worked in this district. I've worked in a previous district before, but I worked in this district as an avid tutor. I found that quite a good experience. But it also allowed me to see the needs firsthand, what kids that did not have, because I've worked with special needs kids before. So kids that did not have special needs, what needs they have that were not getting met. So that was my reason for running.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We made it through the first question. Everybody stayed on time, so we appreciate that greatly. This next question, as we go through, Hodan is going to start us here. And the question that we have, Hodan, is what are your thoughts on maintaining a standard of excellence during remote learning, especially for working parents, single parents, and our underserved families?
First, we have to have an open relationship with the families, communicate by email or by the school the seesaw. Childcare, because I work with the school district and I know the needs the family have for having a childcare. So provide on the childcare, ask the needs, because they have to be on the table to figure out how we can help them.
Thank you. And Eric, same question to you. What are your thoughts on maintaining our standard of excellence during this time of remote learning?
Sure, thank you. Well, I mean, first of all, the question itself, leads to a question about how do you rate, standard of excellence in these different times. Unfortunately, in the spring, we had the circumstance of basically having to send everybody home suddenly and resorting to what we had planned for a couple of snow days to cover in the immediate. And then it's been a growing exercise. I am immensely proud of all the work that was done over the summer, much of which most of our community is not even aware of, by our administration and our teachers to rebuild the whole system. I mean, to be frankly, we pushed back quite a lot on what occurred in the spring. We had results, but they weren't what we would expect to go into the fall. And so, going forward, we need to reach out to everybody. We need to make sure, I know we already exercise quite a lot of resources for access for folks and such, and we, the district's going to continue to do that. We need to make sure everybody can get in there and feel safe and comfortable.
Okay, thank you. Anna, same question to you. Your thoughts on standard of excellence during this time for our working parents, single parents, underserved families, and all families in the district?
Well, I do agree a lot with what Eric said. I've, being in the district, I've experienced the distance learning firsthand. We did a lot of checks and balances, I believe, and did a great job of upping our game for the fall. I've seen it firsthand. The technology our district has provided has been exceptional. But we do, we need to make sure we're staying on task with our students and keeping them connected through routine checks via email, Seesaw, or even on the phone with the teachers. And I do believe we can provide additional tools and supports to our teachers so they have a way of assessing if their students struggling or in need of additional assistance, such as online tutoring or additional one-on-one time scheduled with the teacher. I believe offering resources for parents as well, offering opportunities for parents of kids in the same class to connect and support one another. Community is key during this time, and we must all stick together and support one another.
Thank you. And now, Tony, same question. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on standard of excellence and maintaining that during this remote learning time.
Okay. Well, distance learning has been quite the challenge. Last spring, we did have quite a few kids that fell off toward the end of the year, which was so unfortunate. But unfortunately, this is what we're working with. And I found that I think we really need to get the parents a little more involved, because a lot of them, I don't think, had the tools or the knowledge to just know where to reach out, the knowledge to know where to reach out so that I can help my child. The children, they had it, but they didn't always access it. So if the parents can say, look, my child seems like they're struggling, who can I call for this? I think we'll all together make it a little bit easier for the whole family to get this learning done.
Thank you. And now moving on to Sue. Sue, what are your thoughts on maintaining the standard of excellence?
I think we all answered it really well in regards to that distant learning and how it's just new to our community, to just parents and children. And I understand the sacrifices parents and underserved families are making during this pandemic, not only as a district parent, but as a social worker. And I've heard and seen it all, especially when I'm processing those unemployment insurance claims during COVID. We need to be able to make connections with families stronger, like Tony mentioned. And then we can do that by the more outreach that we are doing. We need to meet families where they are and make education applicable to their life. I think the years of do what I say in education are over, and we need to work with parents as partners for our children to succeed. This year brought uncertainty, but I think opportunity for reflection. What and how we can do better to address the systematic barriers in place is by working with our community members, like the chambers, and connecting more with, honestly, what our children are seeing. And that will be my focus as a board member.
Thank you. Moving on to our next question. Eric, you're going to be first to answer this one. It's a big thing, and it has been for our district for quite some time. How will you balance the competing priorities when approving a budget for the school district? Go ahead.
Certainly. Well, the first thing I'll say up front is school district finances is an immensely complicated thing. And even after 3.5 years of experiencing it, I still often find myself asking questions that I might even feel a little dumb asking. So, you know, it's a tough question to answer in 1 minute. I would say just the key point here is that myself and the rest of the current board have always made, and preceding board members, that the student and their families, primarily the student, is the #1 priority. That comes first. We've always tried to keep any cuts we've had to make as far away from the students as possible. Unfortunately, and we, you know, there's a lot of reasons why, but the budget has gotten tighter and tighter over the years, and we've had to get closer and closer to the actual classroom and the students. But if we can keep that in priority, that the student and the classroom is the #1 priority, it's what our district does. First and foremost, it's what our ultimate responsibility is to the children. Thank you.
Thank you. And Anna, same question to you. How would you balance the competing priorities during the budget cycle?
Well, first and foremost, you know, I would need to weigh the necessity of what the items are in the budget, if it aligns with the goals of our district, if it will move us forward or backwards. I think it's important to obtain feedback from other district staff and from the community. I believe we must be innovative in our thinking when it comes to budgetary needs. We must provide thoughtful ways to increase funding and decrease spending, or even increase revenue. Are we utilizing all grant money available to us and community funded programs in all areas we qualify for? I believe budgetary items require very careful review, and we must do all we can to ensure we have done a full analysis of expenditures set before us. I think research is very imperative too. You know, we have to make sure we have all the data in front of us to make sure we're making the correct decisions, because it does impact our students. And that's the, you know, what I would be looking at if, you know, I'm looking at making decisions on the budget.
Okay. Thank you. And now, Tony, how would you balance the competing priorities in our budget during this time?
Well, after reviewing the overview of the budget, hopefully, if we can't match salaries with the larger districts, then maybe we can offer incentives. Even though students are the main priority of who we're focusing on to get their needs met, the teachers also need to feel upheld also. I think some of them feel, well, I don't want to speak for them, but just from my experience working in the school system, sometimes they feel a little under-worshipped. And as parents have found out, we just really need to give them praise for the jobs that they do, and especially with COVID, how they've had to step up their game and put in so much extra time and work to help students with their learning.
Thanks. Now moving over to Sue. Sue, how would you balance the competing priorities in the budget?
Well, you know, Eric said it well. I think the budget and the whole education system is beyond, you know, our power in many ways, right? There's many levels to it. But the main thing is to make sure that it does not impact our children, and that it gives our children the best opportunity possible. I do have a lot to learn about the district's budget and the funding priorities. Furthermore, I think what our current budget emphasizes is priorities-driven approach, like the support for social workers, the cultural liaisons, counselors, and also the plan to establish each of our schools as pathways. These are a view of the many goals that I'm very proud of our district is taking a step towards from the time that I went to school here. And this will make us look at the student achievement goal and that gap, and to also redefine the inclusion in the classroom. But right now, I think our much focus will be on how to provide the best possible education to our children, our parents, and our community members during this pandemic safely.
Thank you very much, Sue. And Hodan, same question to you. How would you balance these priorities?
I think it's really important to first to listen the needs of the student, families, and the teachers. And we need to put the needs first.
Great. Thank you. Anna, this question is going to be coming to you first. This one is top of mind for, I think, all of our candidates for the school board this year in 191. What strategies do you support in closing the achievement gap?
So I've thought about this a lot. I firmly believe in a community school model to attract more families and closing the achievement gap, because the community school model has the mindset of looking at the whole student, and it's been proven across the country to close the achievement gap in underperforming districts with low with English, English as a second language learners. The model has been proven to show increased attendance, higher graduation rates, and addressing socially emotional issues in students, and it integrates all those things in the learning process. So I feel like it's a really good way to address achievement gaps, and it's very strategic.
Thank you. And Tony, over to you. How would you address the achievement gap?
Well, I love this question because this is my main focus for running for the school board. My main focus is to suggest or introduce more electives to the student curriculum, so that they have more tools to work on their emotional growth and health and well-being, and because sometimes things outside of school distract their learning, I have found. And so giving students more tools and teaching them and learning them how they can better focus on their learning, and teaching them the tools to do that, this will also help, I believe, in their interest, their motivation, and for closing that achievement gap, because they'll feel they want to learn.
Thank you. And Sue, what are your thoughts on helping the district close the achievement gap in Burnsville?
Well, I know for a fact that all of our educators here in the district understand that the educational system that has run our country for all these years is set up for only one type of group and not the other. So let's continue to make education equitable and inclusive for all. There's many tools out there. There's so many seminars, so many curriculums that are out there, and you need to utilize those resources. My children have attended Gideon Pond. There's 2 of them right now that's attending Gideon Pond. And what I've observed for the last couple of years there is like reaching across the table to minority families and engaging them as far as community well-being goes. I think it's beneficial to the morale of families that fall under that gap, whether it's through potlucks. I remember we had a bunch of potlucks there, or maybe familiar cultural songs like Waving Flag by Kanan, which is a Somali artist. And it's about recognizing that things like this really connect us. And I want to blaze a trail that works towards the same ground, which is education for all.
Thank you. Hodan, can you give us your thoughts on closing the achievement gap?
Yes, first we need to acknowledge what it was the reason to create the gap to begin. When we acknowledge that, we can find a solution. We need to build a time for a student to reflect themselves. We also have to develop relationship with the parent and also the community leader. Then we can find a solution for the gap.
Thank you. Eric, same question to you.
Yeah, thank you. Again, this is an immensely complicated question to solve in 1 minute, but this is a problem that persists obviously in Burnsville, that persists throughout our nation. And it really begins with the understanding that children need a lot of input to reach their success. So I'm very proud, and I would actually support continuing the exercises and expanding what we're doing already in Burnsville. So these are things like having emotional support in the classroom, cultural liaisons, EAs, English as a second language instruction. It's not well understood and known, but Burnsville spends more per student than any other district around us. And when you encompass all of that, it also means making sure they have food in their bellies so they're not going hungry. And then the Pathways program that we have at the high school. And now we're just starting to push that all the way down to the kindergarten level, providing alternative learning options and opportunities for all of our students.
Thank you. New question, and before I read this, I'll just give Tony a heads up that we'll be coming to you first, Tony. The question is, how would you, as a school board member, connect with the community and partner with organizations like the Chamber, City, or maybe some others that you have in mind?
Probably just the same way I have with any other of the community organizations I've already worked on. When somebody asks for my help, they come knocking, my door is open. I'm always ready to jump in and help in any way I can. Always share ideas if I have some input or information or experience in that area. And just always be available with my time when I can as long as it doesn't coincide with something else I'm doing, to be available to help and advocate for the kids, which is most important, whenever I can.
Thank you. And Sue, same question to you. How would you partner with these different organizations in the community?
I think it's important to work side by side with community members who are also passionate about education, while understanding the importance of the cultural awareness for our district to prosper. I think if we keep close eye on that, nothing changes. So there's nothing more important than communication and reaching across the aisle. I want to make every organization and individual that I meet comfortable and heard, and an opportunity to express themselves. That being said, partners like the Chamber, the City, and others understand the fundamental value of supporting students and engaging parents, because they are the future of our workforce, and it all connects. I hope that we can work together by having an important and tough conversations that, number one, address diversity, and number two, those inclusion ideas. What are those innovative ways to recruit from those traditionally unrepresented groups? So let's work together and maybe continue to open those doors of employment to diverse population.
Thank you. And Hodan, now over to you. What do you have for ideas to partner with the different organizations in and around the ISD 191?
Like so I'd say that we have to have inclusion. And without the inclusion and diversity, we can't reach that. And also you have to show up, have a community meeting. I'm like I say, I'm the community advocate, so I know how to reach out to the community and how well I can connect with them. And also you have to know your community needs, not just one community, but you have to know the whole community's needs.
Thank you. And Eric, same question to you. How do you envision yourself reaching out and partnering with different organizations in the community?
Yeah, well, so I would just probably continue the relationship building I've done over the last 3-4 years. I'm familiar with mayors of all the communities that we serve, and their city staff members, the chamber, the county. I was involved with launching the first legislative committee we've had at the school board, chaired that the first year, meeting with our representatives, representative peers with the various local legislative people. And then, to the other points, we're always accessible, and we've always made an effort to reach out, whether it's working with church leaders and mosque leaders, whether it's working with realtor groups to better educate them on the pluses rather than the avocation of the minuses in the Burnsville School District. We've been very active in connecting to the community, and we would continue that, and I would continue that as a future member of the school board.
Thank you. And Anna, same question to you.
Well, I just want to, plug that that's also another key feature of the community school model, because that integrates a lot of the governmental pieces of the city. But I also would, continue to, as a board member, try and develop a racial equity council made up of parents, students, community members, and business owners to keep us in check for establishing racial equity policies that work and we are able to measure their impact. I also have already met with the mayor. I've had conversations with her about the equity policy that the city is trying to implement and working on, because I would like to, be involved in anything afterwards that, involves the community, and I've asked them to reach out to me. And also, I've also been working with the high school on developing a mentoring program that would also involve, hopefully, community stakeholders. So yes, I mean, that's very important to keep community connections.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. So far, we've gone through our questions. You've done a great job keeping to the time and keeping things moving. I know it's difficult with the short time frame. But now we're going to be moving on to our closing remarks. So Sue, it's going to come to you first. Please let us know why you are the best candidate to represent our area.
Well, I know I'm the best candidate to represent our area because, again, I have been a student here. And as a social worker, I have seen what households look and feel like. I did home visiting for a CAP agency for about 5 years. I've enjoyed every work of it when going into people's homes and, meeting them where they're at and seeing how the children and families interact. So I definitely want our community to know that not every child goes home and they have an adult that is able to help them with homework. Not every child goes home and is able to concentrate on school because they're helping mom and dad fill out paperwork or translate for mom and dad or run groceries or whatever the chores might be, because that's just the way some of our families are. And we need to be able to understand that and make educational applicable to them. So I feel like the reason I'm running is not because I want something out of it, it's because I want to be able to give back to the community that's given me so much.
Thank you. And Hodan, let us know why you are the best candidate to represent our area.
Okay, I'm very involved with my community and the school community also. Teachers, principal, counselor, deans, liaison, social workers, anywhere. Also, I want every child to have an equal education and also the quality education my kids had within district. And to do that, we have to have an equality. We have to have inclusion. We can have inclusion without having everybody on the table.
Thank you. Thank you, Hodan. And Eric, to you, please let us know why you would be the best candidate to represent our area at ISD 191.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for hosting this tonight. As I said earlier, I'm super excited about the amount of voices we've had, and everybody at this table, I think, would be an excellent candidate. The diversity and the simple fact you guys are running, this is great. My argument for the voter is going to get 3 choices for school board. I'm advocating for one of them for myself. And my argument is experience. That it's simply said, I put hours and hours already into this. It's a complicated and detailed job. And I've been there and done it. We've been through more stuff in my first term than most people that serve in school board go through the entire span of their service. And so that would be my argument for my own candidacy, is simply experience.
Thank you. And Anna, please let us know why you'd be the best candidate for this area.
So the students in our district are my #1 priority. To make sure they have a district that identifies and addresses their needs. I will fight for what is right and what is in their best interests. I am a collaborator and an innovator for change. I'm a creative thinker, and I will find the best way to resolve a problem. In my work at Blue Cross Blue Shield, I've learned firsthand about how racial and health inequities can lead to worse health outcomes later in life. And I have a focus on how to identify school determinants of child health to create the healthiest environment possible for our children to learn in. I find it a challenge to identify root causes of issues and strategize how best to utilize our resources to the best of our abilities so that we can change the narrative of this district to make it desirable for students and families to come here. I want to listen and hear the needs of teachers, parents, and the community I live in to find out how to best serve the district and create a more diverse workforce that represents the landscape of our student population.
Thank you. And Tony, you get to finish this out. Let us know why you'd be the best candidate for our area on the ISD 191 Board of Education.
Okay, the reason why I feel I'm the best candidate for the school board seat is my years of experience working with children outside as a parent, outside of the school system, and in the school system as a paraprofessional, an EA, and with emotional and behavioral children. I feel like I can really understand the needs of the children. I've been successful with teaching with emotional health as well as discipline, and also working with teachers, social workers, and other educators and tutors like myself. I really feel that we need to be diverse because our population in Burnsville and in this district is very diverse. And so I believe that, you know, we need to have some diversity on the school board to integrate some new ideas and, oh, I'm running out of time. New ideas to really put our kids' needs forefront. The students have got to have a say, and this is a new generation. We got to try things a different way.
Excellent. You're running out of time, but you still landed on time. So good job. Thank you all very much. We're very much appreciated you joining us today. We're glad that all the candidates on the ballot were able to join us. Again, for those people watching, this is the ISD 191 Board of Education Candidate Forum encompassing areas of Burnsville, Egan, and Savage for our school district. I'm Brady Folkstead. Thank you again, everyone. Our candidates, Hodan Ahmed, Anna Werb, Tony Connor, Suad Saeed, and Eric Miller. We appreciate you all very, very much. Again, early voting is open, so you can check out on the Minnesota Secretary of State's website where you could vote early, how you can request an absentee ballot, or election day, November 3rd, you can stop into your local precinct and cast your ballot as well. Thank you again for watching, and we hope to keep you informed with these candidates as the race progresses. Jennifer?
Thank you, Brady, and thank you to all of our candidates. It was very exciting to see all the new faces and to hear all the great ideas out there, and thank you for taking the time to run for office to represent our schools. This was our 7th candidate forum, and so thank you for Brady sticking with us and moderating 7 forums. It's been quite an adventure to do this virtually for the first time, but this event, as well as our others, will be posted on our YouTube page by tomorrow for future viewing so that our voters can get to know our candidates before they vote. Because this is an education audience, I will make a shameless plug that we have a business education network between the Chamber and ISD 191, and we are launching a new program next week called our Parent Forum. It is targeted at high school parents, helping to prepare their students for post-secondary planning. So you can check that out on the Chamber website. On our calendar for October 1st, we will have a live panel discussion with recorded breakout sessions and a parent toolkit. It'll go live at noon on October 1st. So thank you again for joining us today. Thank you to Brady and thank you to our candidates. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.